Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Hey Sis. I'm
I'm
Tracy,
Queasy.
and we'd just like to take this moment to thank everyone so much for the overwhelming support we've received from the first episode, the love, the inspiration. It's really touching to know that, just a nice chit chat between the two of us has gone so far. And we'd just like you guys to take a listen to this audio clip that a friend of mine sent in after he heard the episode.
Hey Trey, you mentioned something that made me like really recall a few things that I as a person could have done, moving forward. I've always wanted to do a whole lot of things. So a lot of people would actually think I'm confident because when I'm with people, I try to put up a face, you know. But when I'm alone, just thinking about the things that I really want to do, I'm like, oh, should I be doing this? Oh, what are they going to say? Blah, 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 blah. And the fucked up thing about that, because I think I'm older than you. So it's the regret, but I could have done this. You see, say for example, just somebody living their life and then being able to do the things that you were afraid, this thing where you always, the procrastination on everything, like I'll do it tomorrow, now it's not okay, blah blah blah. The messed up part, it's when now you are alone and you've lost so much time and you feel like I should have done this, you get mad at yourself for not doing it. Honestly, I'm happy that you're doing something that you like. I will always support somebody who does that, because I know it'll give me courage, motivate me to kind of do stuff like that, because I know myself. Sometimes I look at myself, I feel like, oh shit, I used to think I was intelligent and clever, this person who's got everything figured out, but I'm unable to be myself. How am I that intelligent, like smart person if I can't be myself? I have to go like, what is everybody gonna say? What is everybody gonna say? Then I'm not as smart as I thought I am. That's the battle that I'm actually trying to fight right now. Honestly speaking, I'm happy for you, nigga Trey, that you're doing this thing. Like, yo, girl, come on, do you? Damn.
So, Lubinda, thank you so much. It really hit hard to know that we have been able to inspire you so much. And guys, we really do appreciate when you send in your audio clips. It's nice to know that, the tribe can relate and the tribe feels connected to us. And please feel free to drop an audio recording at Anchor FM, girl. Where else can they drop a recording?
Drop us a voice note on Anchor FM, on the Hey Sis I Need to Vent site, or you can just add a comment to our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, all Hey Sis I Need to Vent. Well, girl, let's go into today's topic. Family. Tracy, I need to vent about family. And in particular, do you need to be friends with your family, and do you need to be close to your family? Because, gosh, there are some messy-ass family members out there. And I've had some pretty crazy experiences with some family members that have that's just left me feeling, really crap inside. Like, just like, what does family mean to you? I know that in African culture, family is more than just the nuclear family. That's like your immediate family. In African culture, family is obviously your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, but also your cousin, your auntie, your great aunt, your great 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 uncle, your mom's cousins and your dad's cousins, ancestry. That's supposed to be a community. You're supposed to respect them. But you know what? Not everybody in that circle honors your spirit. Not everyone in that circle makes you feel good. Not everyone in that circle makes you feel comfortable, but then there's an expectation that you're supposed to be close to them, that you're supposed to have a relationship. So, yeah.
So, girl, what are you asking?
That was my topic. Do I need to be close to these people if they don't honor my spirit?
No, listeners. No, you do not have to force relationships with your family. Blood does not mean that you have to go over and above to make yourself uncomfortable. This 2020 is the 2020 of living your truth, living for you. I'm not saying go out there and be disrespectful and be on some F y'all, I don't give a ish. But I'm just saying you definitely do not have to force relationships with your family.
That's interesting. But do you think there's more so a Western perception of family? Because you know what, we're Africans. And in African culture, that attitude just doesn't exist. in African culture, family is just that. They are meant to be your support network. They're meant to be your roots. And there's this strongly embedded sense of respect that comes with the word family, and an expectation that your family are going to be your community. So can we really, as Africans, say that, you know what, I don't like your vibe, so I'm just not going to be around you that much, or I'm just not going to F with you? Can we really say that?
You know what? This is the thing. Culture should what? Evolve. Okay? I'm going to state it right there. Culture has to evolve. Just because something worked for your granny and your uncle and your, your little cousin doesn't mean that you have to make it work for you. I am past the point of us being forced to live a certain lifestyle just because it is what it is. What happened to evolution? Isn't life about growth and development? So no, just because we're African doesn't mean that you have to force relationships. That's my opinion personally. Anyway, I have always been a free-spoken person, and funny enough, I realized something. If it wasn't for my mom and her calming nature, or her wanting to, make sure that I upheld tradition and stuff, I would have been a much more free-spoken person. So for example, I grew up knowing that my aunts and uncles on my dad's side, let me say, mom's side too, ... But I grew up knowing they were fake ass mothers.
Okay, can I ask, what you say that you grew up knowing that they were fake ass people, but why? Is that because of personal experience, or is that because of what you'd heard people say?
Girl, I don't go off of what people say. I go off of what I see for myself. And I saw personally for myself that my dad went over and above to support his siblings. Over and above. The man literally built his first shop at 21. You know how African parents will be like, I did this at this age. I built my first shop at 21. He built that shop to feed his family. He was providing for them. When we went to the UK, he made sure that he took not only his niece, who he claimed as his daughter, but he even brought over his siblings. Ask me today, during the tough times, where are they? Where are they?
Listen.
Nowhere to be seen. Actually, no, they are there. They're there. They're on the sidelines kikiing.
That's interesting. So I guess it's an experience then that you've it's from experience that you're saying this. But then even if you know that they've wronged you and they've wronged your family, or they're not there for you as you guys were there for them, does that mean that you completely iced them?
So I won't exactly say that I was ever warm with them, just to play on that iced metaphor. I never really vibed with them because, if those people aren't going to be there during your tough times, what am I supposed to be doing with them now in my life? I don't see the point in me forcing a relationship with them if they don't want to have a relationship with me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. But then was that just with the aunts and uncles, or did it also include like your cousins? Are you close to your cousins?
So with the cousins, it's more like the aunts and the uncles are the ones I have an issue with. And then by extension, their kids, because I don't like them. Like I don't like the aunts and the uncles. And then their kids, I never got a chance to even know them. So I can't say much about the cousins.
That's really sad. And it actually makes me think of, of how my relationship is with some of my cousins as well. That because I feel some kind of way about their parents, because of how I've experienced their parents, and also because of maybe things that I may have heard about their parents or how their parents treated my parents. It sort of affected how I relate to the entire family, and also affected how I relate to even the cousins. So yeah, that's quite interesting.
So you started talking about your female cousin telling you were thinking you were all that. I wish a chick would, hey? My female cousins on my dad's side, I think they were younger, they were party people, a lot of alcohol, a lot of guy talk and chit chat and kiki. I could never relate based off of my personality. I was more chilled, give me a nice big novel. Ooh, give me a nice walk in nature, even though I didn't walk a lot. But I never related with them. So yeah.
It's interesting. I think something that's also quite relevant as well is just thinking that we say the word cousin. And in African culture, that word doesn't really exist. That this is my cousin. this is my sister cousin, my guy cousin, whatever. That's not really a thing. Your cousin is your sister, and they're your brother, and you're sort of raised in that way that that's your sister, that's your brother, and you're supposed to relate to them in the same way that you relate to a natural sibling.
But then do you relate well with your siblings either way? Like, let's also, I mean, now we're talking about family relationships, and I'm not saying talk about your siblings, girl, but I will say that, do you need to force a relationship with your siblings as well?
I'm quite fortunate that I've got such a positive relationship with my siblings. Really, like, my siblings are my besties. That's not to say that we don't have disagreements, but we do have disagreements. But then it's just those petty sibling type of squabbles and stuff. We're super, super close.
Fair enough. But then the thing goes back. It then goes back to, just because you get along with your siblings, there are people out there, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, not necessarily that you hate your siblings or you don't get along with them, but you just don't connect with them. So if I do not connect with my siblings, what more for cousins who are even distant, who like in and out of our lives? They're not there all the time. If I'm growing up with this person in the house and we are two totally different people, it's always WWE, choke slam and stuff. And you're just like, what more for people who I see at weddings, funerals, the gathering, the Easters, and the Independence Day.
But you know what? For me, yes, I completely get the point that you're saying that actually you don't need to be close to them, especially where they're not in your life all the time. But I guess because they're family and this is your blood, and people always say blood's thicker than water, don't you think there needs to be a certain element of you guys being, there needs to be some sort of element of you having some kind of relationship with them? It may not be like on a bestie level, but then some kind of relationship.
What I would say is, in this day and age, culture isn't, we aren't as rooted in our culture as we used to be in the past. And fortunately, we are not forced to be in the same area with each other. Just because I am expected to keep in touch with people, I think it's made, and me wanting to be the person who can cut them off, I think it is easier for me now, based on the fact that everyone is scattered all over the place, that I can get away with that. But then for the listener, of course, at home, if Auntie Martha lives next door and Uncle Robert lives on the other side, I'm pretty sure it's much harder. But I still feel that you don't have to go out of your way to Coco Malone, how are you? Coco Auntie, how are you? Live life. I don't know if that makes sense.
You know what this is sort of remind me of? It's like, when you were younger and your mom would be on the phone with your uncle or something. And they'd be like, oh, Tracy, come say hi to Uncle so-and-so. And then that feeling of dread that would consume you when you're like, hi, Uncle, how are you? I mean, so many of us can relate to that because that's definitely happened to us.
It definitely has. Every time I would be told to come to the phone, I'd give an eye roll, like really? Like, really, ma? Really? Yeah. And then speaking on that, like giving that example, people, I'm not trying to say I'm rude. I just think I've always been a person who has no shame in stating my opinion and sticking to it, even from a young age. When the uncles and aunts would come over to visit at your house and you have to come into the sitting room and then you all just chill together and you have to mingle with your cousins.
Where?
Guess where I would be?
Oh God, that's
in
so
the bedroom.
Me. That is so me. I really remember that. This is the funny thing, that with cousins, you're sort of pushed together, aren't you? Because you're related. Your mom and your mom's a brother. Your mom and dad are brother and sister, like me and you. So because they are siblings, you guys are expected to have a relationship, and you guys are expected to be friends. But actually, one of us might have a really shitty personality, or we might just clash, and we might just not get along. But then because we're family, we're expected to get along. And that's something that's always messed with me. I'm just like, listen, I don't like this person. In the same way that when I'm out in the world, I'm allowed to choose my friends. I think the same thing should apply with extended family. I shouldn't be friends with you or be close to you by virtue of you being my relative. But for some reason, I feel like our culture forces us to be in relationships and to be in friendships with people that just don't do it for us.
do it for
we
us.
just don't
We don't
gel
gel.
with. And just because they're family, we need to be, we need to make sure we're including them in things. We need to make sure that we're respectful. Even if they make you feel like shit, you still need to find a way to be around those people. And there's so many examples of it just in our family alone. I mean, I have cousins, aunties and uncles who really don't make me feel good about myself. Every single time I go around them, it's their general aura. It's just negative. It's just negative vibes. I don't know. Listeners, please chip in if you agree. I feel like there's something about them that always triggers this impulse for me to protect myself. Whether it's like their relentless questioning of like, oh, so what are you doing? Are you at school? How's school? How's work?
And you get deep down that it's not genuine, right?
Just not 100% sincere. Yet these people will be there sitting there, and then it just makes you feel so uncomfortable. Or they start giving you like unsolicited advice, and that's just making me feel uncomfortable. Or they're giving you like judgy looks. But then because they're your family and you're expected to be loyal to them, you're expected to be be respectful, you put up with it. So this goes back to my question. Do you need to maintain people who you don't feel comfortable around in your immediate circle? Do you need to maintain those relationships?
You definitely, and once again, I'm going to say you do not.
I completely agree with you, Tracy, that you really, really don't. And one thing that I've learned as I've grown is that a person can only affect you in a way that you allow them to. And that's something that I'm really starting to learn, because I'll be honest, like there are some aunties and uncles out there who have really affected me in the things that they say, in the things that they do. I remember when I was first applying to university, I picked my course, everything. I was so into it and I was so excited to do it. And then one day my dad was speaking to my uncle on the phone. And then he goes, "Oh, Whitley, come speak to your uncle." That feeling of dread came, like, oh God, why are you calling me to speak to my uncle? And I went to the phone. "Hi, uncle, how are you?" "Yeah, I'm good. How are you?" "I'm good. Oh, I hear you're applying for university." Yeah, I'm applying for university." "Oh, what are you applying to study?" I say to this man, I'm going to study law. And Tracy, his response was like, "Law? Why are you studying law? Where on earth are you going to get a job with law in England?" That was his immediate, immediate reaction. And Tracy, as somebody who's applying for, it tear you down. And I was just like, first of all, why would you even say this to me? I am 18 years old. I'm applying for university. This is something that I feel I am passionate in. And you're already telling me you're already looking into my future and telling me that this course I'm going to go study isn't good enough for me. It's not going to take me anywhere. And like, how is that supposed to position me? So it's just that like negativity that will come from someone like that. Have you had similar experiences, girl?
Hey, why are you even asking when you know? Are you forgetting that aunt who almost sabotaged me coming to Taiwan?
Share with the people how family can be haters sometimes.
From the first episode we were talking about people stopping your dreams, and we had mentioned that, even your family can deter that. Well, I literally had that experience during the time when I was trying to come to Taiwan for the internship. Things were tight at home, people. No one has money all the time. So my mom said, "Tracy, I'm not going to be able to help you as much as you want. I need you to ask from your family for yourself. You're going to have to get some money and you're going to have to pay it back." I asked someone, you know what? I don't even care. It's my truth. I asked her sister, my one aunt, and this still hurts me to this day because I like to say, if that woman dies, that's my mother. I asked my mother, my second mother, and she said, okay. Then she got in touch with your mom, and then your mom had offered to help out. But then the second aunt, my mother, #mom number 2, basically left me hanging till this day. I even heard from the grapevine that she was saying, why does she even need that much money? Where is she going? Does she really need to be doing this? So basically, if it wasn't for your mom, I wouldn't be where I was. And that's why I appreciate the people who have given love to me. And I feel that firsthand you do not need to force relationships with family, especially people who don't support your dream.
Girl, and you know what you've just said in that moment, you called her, she's not your auntie, she's your mother. And then that goes back to what we sort of said earlier when we were talking about cousins, that's not your cousin, that's your sister in our culture. That this whole cousin, auntie, uncle complex doesn't really exist in our culture, because your cousin's your sister or your brother, your auntie is your mom, and your uncle is basically, if it's on your dad's side, he's your dad. If it's on your mom's side, he's like a male version of mom. So, and it's just crazy. It's really crazy, because when those people who are supposed to be culturally so close to you, the people that you lean on, when those people are shady to you or they don't support you, like in your situation, it's malicious and it hurts. And the question is, should I be regarding you with such high esteem that the culture demands me to regard you in? And I think the answer is no. I shouldn't be holding.
Definitely.
I shouldn't be holding you up on that totem pole like you're my mom, or you're my like, you know, male version of a mom, or you're like my dad. You're really not. Yeah. Crazy.
And to add on to that, if you don't mind me adding on, funny enough, I wanted to actually talk to that aunt when I was there in the UK. I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I don't want to go to her. She was like, Tracy, they're going to embarrass me. Tracy, you can't do that. That's rude. 1, 2, 3. I was like, look, Mom, if you keep pushing this, I won't even call you. I'm cool with that. But then after a while, I was like, Mom, I feel like if I talk to her and let her know I felt wronged and I felt hurt by that whole financial situation, it would help. My mom said no, because it would be taboo. I can't air my grievances to an adult. What is that?
Oh, so basically what you've essentially been told there is that an adult can hurt your feelings, they can trample on your heart, but then you don't have the right to go to that person and say to them, you know what, Auntie, you hurt my feelings. And I think I really want to resolve this to you. So your feelings, so essentially you've just been told that your feelings aren't relevant in the situation. Respect.
Exactly.
Respect and preserving that person's pride and feelings is way more important and takes precedence over your feelings. So shut the hell up. Girl, that's unacceptable.
It is.
I think there's always going to be a conflict between culture, tradition, and this, I don't know, modern way of thinking. These days, we're told that you do things that you want to do. Don't give a damn what people think about you, and you can create family wherever you find it. Your family doesn't need to be your family. Your family can be friends or people that you meet out there in the world. But then that new way of thinking is very much in conflict with what we are raised to believe and to understand family to be.
So what do you think in conclusion? Where do you stand with this? Do you feel that you should follow the traditional the traditional conception, or are you willing to evolve? What are your thoughts?
It's a mixture of both. I think as a human being, you need to be very balanced. You can't go too far left and you can't go too far right. That's why I'm a little bit liberal. I'm in the middle with it. I will never believe in 100% cutting people off. Never, ever. I don't think that's right. I think there's something that someone's always said to me, that you need to know your people, know your person. Know the people you are interacting with. Know what about them that you like, what about them that you don't like, and know what your boundaries with that person. And don't be afraid to set those boundaries. I know that uncle is shady as heck, but that's okay. I know you're shady, but that just means that I now know how to deal with you. I now know how to manage you in my life. And one thing's for sure, I can be around you, but then it's up to me to decide whether or not I internalize your negativity and all your shit.
But I feel like the listeners need to drop
I definitely want to hear what people think about this topic. So do you need to stay close to toxic family members? Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, you can listen to this podcast on Spotify, on Anchor FM, and on YouTube. Please join in on the conversation on our social media platforms at Hey Sis, I Need to Vent on Instagram and on Facebook. Please drop us a voice note on Anchor FM and let us know whether you can relate to what we were talking about today. Thank you so much for listening to us today, and can't wait for you to join us next time. Bye.